All right, good afternoon. Saturday afternoon, perfect time for a little roller derby time. Christopher's um, roller derby game using my time engine. So first of all, I want to say how flattering it is that individuals would want to make their versions using my engines, the time engine or the RBE engine. Chris also made an RBE version, Roller Derby Express, which is available on the Google Drive. Unfortunately, I'm not going to demonstrate that because I don't want to try to print out the cards. It's just too much for me. I have to go to the Office Depot and then I got to cut them, and I don't have the capacity for that. But it looks like a fantastic game. This, though, on the other hand, perfect for what I'm about. D6 time. So again, this is available free on my in my time folder. Again, we want to thank Chris for this amazing game. I printed this out front and back. I don't know how many pages. Actually, I guess I didn't print it front and back. Oops, they're supposed to be front and back. Yeah, see, Office Depot can't pay attention to. These are supposed to be printed front and back. So clearly, Office Depot did not read the instructions. I order online in the mornings, and then I pick them up in the afternoon. And clearly they didn't read the instructions. I don't know why that's such a problem, but oh well, it's done. So anyway, we got these great teams. I'm going to do 49 through 62. I'm going to do Brooklyn Red Devils on the road against the Jersey Jolters. I just love this. So, and I'm going to walk you through it. I have never done this before. I have not played the RBE game, of course, the one with the. So we're all going to learn this together for the first time. And I've already started based on the rules. So first thing you do is you determine home and away grades, right? So for those following along, home and away grades. So I'm going to come over here to the matchup chart. Okay, so Brooklyn Red Devils women are a C versus the Jolters women are a C. So C versus C is C. So on my score chart, I write Brooklyn women C. The men for Brooklyn are an F versus a C, so they're an F. And I write the men in here, F, and then I go over and do Jersey. And again, we get C for C is C, and then we get the men are C versus F. The men are elevated to a B. So now I have my grades for their basic scoring, right? Okay, we're ready to go. Okay, so I know that. And what I done is I wrote down his score sheet. His score sheet is laid out longwise, which is fine, but I was afraid I would run out of space, so I'm doing it down. So we're gonna go down the sheet. So we roll for the first group of women, right? They're the first ones on the. So once we've used this portion of the game, our introduction, we've made our teams. If you're going to make teams, they use this. If you're not making the teams, you're going to use the teams here. Don't worry about this. Use the matchup to get your grades per each match, and then we're done with this, right? So to simplify your life, lose the stuff that might get in the way. Right, and we know we only need the two teams we're going to play, so all these other teams I'm going to keep hidden here. So again, we don't further confuse ourselves as we're learning. We have his 16 points on how to play the game right here, so you can just follow these, right? But we're technically doing visitor women's first, so here we go. And we're going to roll this score table. So his season files have their own score table to reflect the era, the decade, the style of roller derby. So this is not a fictional. This is not fictional like my games. Generally my time games come with fictional leagues. This is based on real teams and players, which is so damn cool. It's a replay. It's a roller derby replay game, baby, using the time engine. All right, so women. Let's see. That's right. Brooklyn hits the. Let's see what they score first. 2 on C for the women. They're going to score 7 points. So I'm literally going to write on the Brooklyn side 7, and women C 5. They're going to score 8 points. So Jersey is up right now by 1 in the first period, right? But our first quarter, whatever you want to call it, periods. They do call them periods, right? But now we're going to check their scores. So it tells you right here, I'm going to roll the dice. If I roll a 1, 2, or 5, a star offensive jammer scores that many points for his team, while the star blocker will erase that many points from the opponent's score. A roll of 3, 4, or 6 has no effect. So if I roll a 1, 2, or 5, we're going to see the jammer, the offensive jammer, do some damage here for the Brooklyn Red Devils. 1. Okay, so we're going to see a jammer do some damage. So first, it says here roll. Then we roll visitor women star. So again, you know you need to do this for both teams. It says right here, for the visitor women first, 1. So their star jammer is, let's see here, is that, 1, excuse me, that's Midge Tuffy Bration. Oh, that's a defense. He's defensive. So it's going to be, oh, that's how many she erases. Is that right? I think that's how many she erases. So she's actually going to do, on the result of 2 jammer scores that many points, or a B. Okay, so she's a D. She's going to erase 1 point from these guys, right? So they're actually going to come down to a 7. Is that right? Am I doing that right? And then, let me see here. Visitor woman rolls a star skater adjustment. Their star skater happens to be a defensive adjustment, and she's a 1+, so we're going to move that down. Let me double check if 1+ takes off more points. I think it just takes off 1 point, right? Okay, I read it here. I did read it. I'm now trying to remember if it was to take off. On a result of 1, 2, or 5, a star jammer, O, scores that many points for his or her team, while a star blocker will erase that many points. So I rolled a 1, 2, or 5, so we're going to erase 1 point. Cool. So they're technically at 7. I'm going to put 7 here. Okay, and the other team, the Jolters, the home team, it's going to be 2, no effect. So it's going to be, after we roll, it's going to be 7 to 7. So let me show you my score. It was 7 to 8, but my star jammer, matter of fact, I'm going to put in here, star defense -1, lowered their 8 to a 7. So it's tied at 7-7, right? If I'm doing this right, and I think I am, right? Okay. Now we're on to the men, and the men don't have the star play right yet. They don't get the star play till the second half. So the men, we just roll for the score, and this is going to be sad for Brooklyn as they're an F. So let's see what the men do. 5, F is 7 points. So the men score just as many, despite not being very good. And the men on this side are B. They're going to get 8 points. So again, they're up 8. And we take the halftime score. So now, very simple. We don't do any star checks here. Now we go on to halftime. Halftime adjustment. It's going to be a no adjustment. So at halftime, it's going to be 14 for Brooklyn. Every home team gets the +2 halftime adjustment. So 15 + 2 is 17. So right now, Jersey's up 17-14 at halftime. Right? That's simple. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. All right, here we go. The women go first. No star adjustment for women, though. Right? Women go first. 5C. They're going to score 8. So wow, Brooklyn's women come out doing good here. And 5, 8. But they're still chasing. The women keep up the standard, 8 apiece. Now the superstar men. The men are down here, right? So let's check the men's star rating. 6, no effect. And 4, no effect. So we're going to put men's score, the men's stars, no effect. I'm just going to put an X through those. And now we're going to do the men's scoring, right? All right, here we go. The men for Brooklyn. They're an F. 6F, though. They're going to score the best they can, 7. And B men are going to score 4. That is going to be 8. And boy, once again, they've spread the lead out. And our final score, right? 14 and 15 is 29 points. 17 and 16 is 33. But we got to do the catch-up roll, right? The catch-up roll. Let me double check this now. I may have done this. I may have done that. I should have done that already, I think. So whenever a leading team is up by more than 5 points, their next roll is moved 2 columns to the right. So neither team was up by more than 5. If you're down by more than 5, if either team is up by more than 5, the next roll needs to be shifted, right? If the home team is trailing by 5 points or less after the final rolls have been made, they get one final chance to see if they can pull off a dramatic final jam comeback where they're not down. The home team's winning. If the score is tied, we're gonna do a check until we determine the winner. So we actually have the winner. That is it. I didn't have to make any adjustments. There was nobody behind or ahead by more than 5. So there's our final score, and there is no overtime. So Brooklyn 29, Jersey 33, and that is roller derby time by Chris. Brilliant. Chris's email, of course, I put on the video sharing this. If you want to contact Chris to get information or to ask questions about the game, there's an email for you to contact Chris. Brilliant. Brooklyn loses 29-33. No surprise, as the men here are greatly outmatched by the men of Jersey, and they bring it home. But the girls for Brooklyn really carried their weight in the second half, matching the girls of Jersey. Unfortunately, the men didn't pull their weight, and they Jersey just spread the lead out until they get the job done. And there he is. That is a 1-0. So Brooklyn will be 0-1, and New Jersey in my league using the 49-62 teams, because that's who all play, these older teams, man. Brooklyn Red Devils, New Jersey Chiefs, Jersey Jolters, Chicago Westerners, Los Angeles Braves, San Francisco Bombers. I think that's all. Yep. And then it goes up to 61 through 88, these teams. But I'm going to play the 49-62 teams. That's pretty significant. These teams played for a while, it looks like. And there you have it, folks. That's game 1. Let's do another one. That was too damn good to just stop there. So let's do another team. Let's do we've done these two. Let's do the New York Chiefs on the road. New York Chiefs and let's do the LA Braves. Again, I'm going to put women here, men here, women here, men here. Okay, women for these guys. The Chiefs are C versus F. Oh, so the women are going to have a advantage here. Let's go to find our thing. So C and F is B. So the Chiefs women, the Lady Chiefs, as it were, are a B. And F versus B is going to be F for the women of the Braves. All right, the men. The men for the Chiefs are C versus D. This ought to be interesting. C versus D is C. So C for the men of the Chiefs. And D versus C is D for the men. So the Braves right now are definitely the underdog. But they are at home, which does have advantage in this, which is very cool. Very cool. All right, we're going to write it down here. Women's score, women's stars, men. And then we're going to get halftime adjustment. I think I might have memorized this already. Home field or home halftime score. Right, then we got the women, the men's stars, the men. And then we got final. And then we have potential OT. So remember, if anybody's ahead or down by 5, we shift everything no matter where we're at in the game. Okay? Just follow this. What you want to remember is if it's a +5, -5, either way, we need to be making some shifts right smack in the middle of the game. So you don't shift late, you shift immediately. So here we go. Women for the Chiefs. Here we go. We're using this score chart down here on the teams. 4 on B for the women. 4 on B is 8 points. So again, the Chiefs come out strong. 8. And the Lady Braves on F, 3. They're going to be at 7 points. So again, we only have a 1 point difference, so we don't have to sweat shifting anything. Right? The women's stars for the New York Chiefs. 4, no effect. And 1. Oh, so the Lady Braves are gonna get a +1 to their score. So the Lady Braves adding 1, 0, right? So we're technically, I'll go +1. We're gonna be at 8, and they're gonna be at 8. So it's 8-8 now. So the Lady Braves got, although they were losing, Mary Pocahontas Yopelli helped score a star jam, right? And bam, we're now at 8-8. All right, the men. Here we go. Men come out. Men are C for the New York Chiefs. 4 for C is 8 more points for the men. And for the women, men D for this side. D is 6. Ooh, down by 2. Again, that's not a 5 point difference. It's 14-16. Home team adjustment is 2, right? Which means at halftime it's going to be 16-16. Folks, we got a tie match, tie game at halftime, 16-16. Beautiful. All right, the women come out. The New York Chiefs ladies come out for the second half. 2 on B is 7. And the women F5 on F is 7. Man, we got us a tie game, folks. 7-7. All right, the men's stars. Let's see what the men's stars do for the Chiefs. 3. Let's see here. It's 1, 2, and 5. So nothing. No effect for 3. 1, 2, and 5. Interesting. So I would read this as 1, 2, and 5. Okay. I think I'm doing that right. Maybe you can start who you want, but I'm going by how it's lined out here. So anyway, no effect. So the men are going to stay at their total. Let's just add up their total. Their total is 23 up to this point. And 5, the Braves, Hal Bones does nothing. And it says here, star 5, that many points. There is nobody in 5 here. So I'm going to, I don't know. Maybe I'm supposed to pick the starters? I didn't notice that. Determine home and away, obtain each team's grades, and then make the rolls for the women and the men and the stars. On a result of 1, 2, and 5, a star jammer O will score that many points for his team, while a star blocker D will erase that many points. Obviously, it has to have them, and he has nothing. So, again, we're going to be at 23. It's 23-23, the men's turn. And again, we don't have to make any of those adjustments up or down because nobody's 5 points greater. So here we go. C for the New York Chiefs. 3 on C is 7 points. That's going to make them at a total of 30. And the Braves, 4 on D. 4 on D is 7. It's going to be 30-30. Holy cow, we got to do our overtime. So final score is 30-30. We're going into OT. Let's read this. Whenever a team is leading by, okay, we didn't have to do that. If the home team is trailing, we don't worry about that. If the scores are tied at the end of the game, roll 1d6 for each team, starting with the home team. A roll of 1, 2, or 5 is a score. Higher number wins by 1 point. 1, 2, or 3 for the home team. Let's try to hit non-thing here. 4, no score. Visiting team, no score. Home team wins by 1 point. Okay, we got to keep rolling. Home team wins by a point if they pick the number. 6, no. Got to roll a 1, 2, or 5. 2, so that means the visiting team is going to win this by a point. If the home team is going to roll a 1, 2, or 5 score, the higher number wins by 1 point. Example, home team rolls a 2, away team rolls a 4, home team wins by 1 point. Home team wins by 1 point. Home team rolls a 5, away team rolls a 2, the home team wins by 1 point. What? Oh, because they scored something. Right. So 2, it's definitely going to be the away team. So the away team scored a point with 2. So they're going to win this because the home team did not score a point. So technically it's going to be 31-30, and the Chiefs are 1-0, the Braves are 0-1. I think I read that right. If scores are tied at the end of the game, roll a 1d6 for each team, starting with the home team. A roll of 1, 2, or 5 is a score. So we rolled the first time neither team scored. This time the away team scored. Right? The higher number wins by a point. So that's it. It's that simple. It sounds weird because of the idea that if you his example is the other team won by a point because that was a no score. So wow, the Chiefs on the road win. They're 1-0. They win 31-30. The Braves lose at home, 0-1. So in my first week of my season, or of my schedule, and Brooklyn went on the road and lost, and again, 29-33 Jersey. So boy, you can see the scores are tight. That's an average of 31.5 points per team right now. So it's very close. These are not blowouts, man. This is amazing. And matter of fact, so I've played 1, 2, 3, 4. We have one more game. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's just do the whole dang weekend. Right? We're going to have Chicago. at, boy, I love this, San Fran. And one of the things I love about my time series games, they have the detail, the narrative. We have the details of the players. We have the narrative of stars making plays, but they're fast. I mean, we're knocking out these games. I mean, this is why I invented the time series, right? We don't exchange minutia and details for tedious and long and boring, and we still steal examples of the players, and the roster is so sweet. He describes in here, he's using my basketball time, second edition for this. Basketball time complete no longer uses individual player grades. So you would, for him to make this, he had to use my original basketball time 2, right, which is sweet. Which, again, one of the reasons I invented I put out the more advanced games first was so people could use players to highlight stuff, right? Hockey units, etc. My time complete games remove all of that minutia and get right down to the nitty gritty of fast games with just grades. So it just depends on what you want. Deeper with some details, or fast and simple. All right, so again, let's go look at the Chicago women. Let's grab our matchup chart. This is fantastic. And here's an example. I don't know, the only other roller derby game I've ever played in my life was Play.com's, which is a genius game. Genius game. I've since donated that. Actually, I think I gifted it to Dell, my game company partner. I gifted that to Dell. So I think he has it. I just wasn't playing it. It took too long to do what I want to do. This, I'll play. I mean, already I'm going to finish the first weekend. You know, the first week's games. It's amazing, our matches. All right, so let's go ahead and get on with this. Women, F versus C. This is, by the way, Chicago versus San Fran. F and C is F. So the women of Chicago are an F. The men are D versus D. That's going to be a D. Yep, D. And the women of San Fran are C versus F. That means they're going to stay a C. And the men are D versus D. They're going to stay a D. And remember, we got women's score. We get men. And then we get home advantage. And then we get halftime. And then we get women. We get the male stars. We get the men's score. And then we get the final score. And then we get potential overtime. And that's it. That's how easy this is. So again, this was a request. I had somebody write me a comment on my last one of my videos and said, "Could you please demo this, because it'll help along with trying to follow the rules." So I hope this is helping. So again, this is how I'm setting up my score sheet. Visitor, at, home, women F, men D, women C, men D, just for the game, because we have all the other information here. And then I put them in order, just like his score sheet. Women's first run, the stars for the women. The men, halftime. By the way, home adjustment is always +2. Halftime, then we tally it up to halftime. Then we go with the women again. Then we get the men's stars on the rink doing some damage. Then we get the men's total score. Then we're going to get our final, which may have to be resolved within overtime. Okay, and these are all going to be close because these numbers are so tight. These numbers on the score chart are so close, which is sweet. You're not going to see a lot of huge discrepancies in points. However, some of these seasons, the scores could grow pretty quick, right? You're going to get to those +5, -5, right? But this particular era of roller derby was clearly bone-jarring. These guys weren't messing around. This was close. And I love it. All right, women, here we go. The women Westerners. 4 on F. 4 on F is 7 points, so the women score 7. C for the Lady Bay Bombers, 5. Wow, nice. 8 points. So they're up. Home is up 8 by 1 right now. Women's Stars for Chicago, 2. 2 is indeed a bonus. 2 is 1.4, so they're going to gain a point. That's going to put them at 8, unless San Francisco lowers it. 3. Nope, they're not even going to add to there. So there's the straight up 8. So it's 8-8, folks. The men now. Men for Chicago, D. 1, 6 points. Oh, the men letting down Chicago on the road. And, and the men for San Fran. So that's actually going to be 14. We're going to tally this to 14. And we're going to tally this now with 8 to 16. Add home field to it. It's 18 to 14. at halftime. Let me show you that. So 7 was the score. The modifier was a +1, so it's 8-8. And then again, I just added the men's score immediately, so it's 14-16, adding the men's score for this period, right? 16-14, and then we add the home field advantage, and we're at 14-18. We're almost at where we need to shift, but it's only home team's ahead by 4. We don't have to shift. Okay. So home team has that advantage. We don't have to make any shifts right now because they're winning, right? But we're going to double check this because it is about how close the games are. He writes in here how the games were so tight that we really do need to pay attention. The point differentials on each aspect, generally they were close. Most of them being decided only by the last jam, allowing for dramatic comebacks. Simulate these with 2 special rules, and here are the special rules. Whenever a leading team is up by more than 5, we got to shift, right? And if the home team is trailing by 5 or less, the final rolls have been made. They get 1 final chance to score points. And we have not had to do that at all. So we may get through this whole week because these are so close right here. We may not have to. We may not have to do a shift, which is interesting. I may get through my whole first 3 games ever and not have to make any shifts. All right, the women here. For the women, they're an F, but I rolled a 6, 7. The women are pulling their weight for Chicago. It's the men that drop the ball. And let's see here. 2 for C. Women's C is 7. But they're still up, folks. 21-25, so still 4 points. The men, D, for Chicago. Oh, this is the star, excuse me. And there is a change here. Chicago 2 is +2. Wow. So we're going to get 2 more points through the men. So the men are going to bring this to 9 before we roll their score. And 4, no score extra. So, folks, it is, see here, the 9 is 23 to 25. I'm writing this beside it so I don't lose track of the score. It's 23-25 as the men now make their roll. And the men, of course, are D for Chicago. That's 6. 8. Chicago, I think, is about to make a comeback. They're at 31 points. And 5 for D is 7. They're at 32 points. So, folks, 31-32. We don't have an overtime. The San Fran wins at home. They're 1-0, 0-1. So again, my scoring here is a little sloppy as I haven't decided whether I want to tally the points as I go or whether I want to write the points in separately. I kind of like writing the points in for so I can see what the men did on their turn. But then I have to keep some kind of tally. So I hadn't decided, do I want to add them as I go, or do I want to tally, or do I want them to be individual? The point is, San Fran wins at home, 32-31. They took the lead here, especially with that performance right before the half, as the men on the Chicago side basically dropped the ball, giving up 2, and they ended up winning it by 1. So if the men had done better here, we might have had an overtime derby. Outstanding. So we've got one home team won. I think 2 home teams won. Yeah, Jersey won at home, and San Fran won at home, but the Braves lost on the road. So that's fascinating. So there you go, folks. That is the first weekend's roller derbies. We were able to play all 3 games. We saw every one, and hopefully doing this 3 times really helped explain how roller derby time works. Thank you for watching. Again, I want to thank Chris, number 1, for liking my game engine enough that he would take roller derby and make a brilliant game here. And I do say brilliant. Why? Because it is that simple, that fun. And by the way, for those who don't know, we haven't done this yet. The very last page is fast play. So if you don't want to play every game out like that, you can just make their rolls for their scores and their adjustments, and we're done. So he also has an instant score chart. So you can play this with instant scores. But what also, the reason I'm saying thank you is he is providing all of these leagues, all of these teams, and the eras of all of these different professional roller derby teams over the course of their history, and every one of these eras or leagues has their own scoring charts, which are so cool. Or maybe it was based on league rules. I don't know. I don't know enough about roller derby, but that is so appreciated. Just to have all the teams and players, and you can play them that fast, that's pretty awesome. Thank you for watching. Good day.